segment in this.
We should make a podcast.
Thing
We should have a podcast.
of us three.
Okay, it's, you know how cool that would be?
Brought to you by your sponsored viewers.
I'm back. So now,
Carmen.
You
Do
guys-
you hear laughing? I don't hear you laughing because
We don't have a
Shanice's not
laugh
funny.
track.
Because Shanice's not funny. That's probably why.
Did you hear laughing after that one?
I'm like,
Okay.
so this past Saturday, I went to a college to audition for their acting program. During the day, I went for 3 different auditions in the same day. One was for their acting BFA program, which a lot of people want to enter. And there was a lot of competition. And in the beginning of the audition, the main person that was running the everything that was happening that day came out, and he asked if we had any questions, and one of the moms asked about the acting BFA. So the way that it worked was that you would go in for the audition, and if the teachers liked you, they would write you on a callback list, and those were the people that they would ask to come back for a movement exercise. So then the mom asked, oh, if my daughter doesn't see her name on the callback and she doesn't get called back for the movement, does that mean that she doesn't have a chance? Like, is she still eligible exactly for a role in the program? And the guy was pretty blunt. He looked at her and was like, no, ma'am, I apologize, but if your name's not on the list, then you can pretty much imagine that she's not going to be called back for the program at all. So initially, I was taken aback by that. I was like, whoa, that was really blunt. And that put a lot of pressure on my shoulders because I was nervous. I didn't know whether or not I would, be good enough for the program or whether I would see my name on the board. And the day went by, all of my auditions went pretty well. I was lucky enough to have a really good partner for the last audition, which was for the BFA in acting. So pretty much what they had us do was we did our monologue for them, and then afterwards they would give you a random scene partner and a scene that you two would have to perform for the judges. My partner was amazing. He was from Africa, and me and him kind of clicked initially. We became friends. We didn't see each other as competition, which I really liked, and we were able to work together on the project. So we performed for them. They were very impressed with our performance, and then we left. Once we were downstairs waiting for the callback list to come up, we were really scared. My heart was pumping, and when they came out with the list and posted it, I initially didn't want to see the list because I was scared to not see my name on there, and I didn't know how I would react. I didn't know how to take rejection, I guess. So I was scared. It took me some time. My mom pushed me eventually to get up. I got up, and I actually made a couple friends with some of the other girls that were acting that day. And one of them came up to me and she grabbed my arm, and I could tell by her face that she was really just, she lost herself, which kind of made me, it made me take a step back and kind of reanalyze the whole situation. And now I feel really bad, but she grabbed my arm, and then she looked at me, and I asked her, I was like, oh, did you make it? Because I didn't know whether it was a positive or a negative reaction at the time. And she looked at me, and her eyes kind of started to well up, and she told me no, that she didn't make it. And then I was like, oh my gosh. And as I was going to apologize and try and make her feel better, she looked in my eyes and she told me, you made it. And the second that she said that, I was taken aback, and I was like, no, it can't be, because I was in denial. I didn't really expect my name to be on the list. And once she told me that, I was like, oh my gosh, are you serious? Like don't lie. And then she jokingly, she was laughing at the situation. She was like, no, I'm not lying. You're actually up there. So I gave her a hug. She congratulated me. I told her good luck and wished her luck on all of her future endeavors and auditions or wherever she was going. And then I ran up to the list. I saw my name, and I was just I was amazed, and I was impressed with myself. Exactly. I was really relieved. And then as I was walking back with all of the other people that were getting called back, so it was a group of, I would say, maybe 40 plus kids, and only 5 people were on the callback list. So when us five started walking to the elevator to go up, I turned around and I noticed that my partner was right behind me. And when I saw him, I got excited. I was like, "Oh my gosh, you got on the callback too!" And he was super excited. He was like, "Yes, I got on the callback." We shared like a really cool moment. And then me and him were actually having a conversation after everything. And he had told me, he was like, "I'm getting on a plane back to Africa tonight. So right after here, I'm packing up my bags, I'm leaving." And I was like, "Oh, that's really cool, like safe travels or whatever." And then he looked at me and he was like, "Honestly, thank you for everything that you did today." And I was like, "Oh, it's no problem, like you did amazing." And he was like, "I can truly go back to Africa," because Pace was his top choice for college. He was like, "I could go back to Africa feeling fulfilled." And he was like, I'm satisfied with what I did. And he told me, he was like, "Honestly, I feel like when we were in that room, that's the best performance that I personally could have given in front of the judges. And I feel like that's the best performance I could have given with anybody else in front of the judges." And he was like, "If I get accepted to the school, that would be amazing. But if I don't, I'm not blaming it on my audition, because what me and you did was amazing." So that really touched my heart. And that moment, like, I don't feel like I'll ever forget that moment. And he was a really good guy, and I wish him all the luck in the future. He was an amazing actor. But yeah, that was my experience. And I guess I was lucky enough to be on the list, but it also opened my eyes to like the reality of this business, and that like you're taking a risk. Like, it's a very risky job, and you might not always get your name on the list. And it's all about confidence. It's all about you believing that you are where you're supposed to be, and whatever happens is supposed to happen. And I've always been a confident actor, and I've always known that I have talent and that I belong in this industry. But yeah, seeing everyone else's faces and seeing like people really lose themselves when they didn't see their name, it was an eye-opener. And it really it made me that much more grateful of what I did at the end of the day, and the fact that I was able to get my name on that list. And yeah, I guess that was my experience. It was, this time around, it was an amazing experience. I liked it. But yeah, I came back. I told the rest of the kids the story just to open their eyes and to make sure that like they're prepared for the future, because they're next. They're gonna be soon going on auditions and all of this, and I just want them to know that they're all amazing actors, and they're all very, very talented people. And you guys definitely belong here, and what you're doing is amazing, and not a lot of people can do what we do. So it's kind of like, if you go in the future and you and I believe that you all will have your name on that list, but if not, then like, oh well. Don't let that hurt you. Don't let that mess with your confidence, because you truly are like some of the most talented people that I know. And that's pretty much it.
Guys.
All my brain is